So I just read this article about how women handle divorce better than men. And at the end of this article, one of the researchers commented, well, looking at the data, it just seems that women are a lot stronger than men when it comes to divorce. I read that and I realized I had to make this video. You guys, if you believe that, it is total BS. So today we are going to look at what's really going on, because you've probably noticed that it's true. Women do seem to handle divorce better than men. You're maybe even noticing that in your own divorce. But the why? It's not because they're stronger. And it's also not because they're not at fault in the divorce. So in this video, we're going to clear all of that up. Before we get started, I want to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you're liking these videos and click that bell to turn on notifications. And if you would like more information and more support, you can go ahead and sign up to my email list as well. So there's one really important factor that those researchers completely ignored in that study, and that's the fact that 70, if not 80% of divorces are filed by women. That means that she got to choose the divorce. You didn't. More often than not, the woman chooses the divorce and the man doesn't want it. And that sets her up to handle the divorce better in a couple of ways. One is simply that she's ahead of you in the process of grieving and moving on. Women have usually moved on and done quite a lot of that work before they ever file for divorce, which is truly unfortunate in relationships because often men don't even know that there was a problem. They don't even know that things were at that level or that she was feeling that bad until she's filed. But at that point, it's too late for therapy, for couples counseling, for changes to be made in the marriage because she's already gone through this whole process of moving on. She might be a full year or two ahead of you in terms of processing the end of your relationship, healing from that, and looking forward into a new and different life. For you, it feels brand new. For her, it's old news. She's been doing this for a while. The fact that she filed also puts her in a position of emotional power. So what does that mean exactly? It means that she has spent a lot of time in her head justifying her decision to leave you. When it comes to how you handle the divorce, women tend to have a real leg up in this arena because they filed for divorce. So they are naturally, if we're looking at this divorce as a black and white, you're bad or she's bad, well, she's the one who pulled the plug on it. Right? So she's naturally put herself in this position where it looks like she's the victim. She's the innocent one. She's the one who had it so bad. It was so horrible. You were so controlling or narcissistic or codependent or difficult or insensitive that she had to file for divorce. Right? She has already set up this whole narrative simply by being the one to initiate the split. And naturally, this is going to have an impact both on how she experiences the divorce, but also on how you experience the divorce. Because what I see happening a lot is that women really step into that role. I was the victim, he was bad. They want to embrace that, put all of the blame here, take none of it here, and off they go. So naturally, they're happier after divorce because, oh, thank God I escaped that, right? I've set up this whole story about how bad this person was, how bad this marriage was, and I'm out of it. So she gets to feel better because she's made that whole story again to protect herself from self-blame. And then what I see happening in men is they're afraid her narrative is true. She's the one who got to write it. She's the one who filed for divorce. It feels like she is calling all of the shots. She is making all of the decisions. And how did we get here? How did this happen? Men are left questioning how they ended up with a divorce that they didn't want. And there's one answer that is readily available to them, and that is their ex-wife's narrative. She's been telling it to him during the entire divorce, likely before the divorce, all of the things that he did wrong, all of the reasons that it's his fault. You hear that story enough, you're told that over and over and over again, and a part of you starts to believe it. A part of you starts to doubt yourself, starts to doubt your certainty that you're a good person, that you're a good man, that you were a good husband and a good partner, and you don't know how to challenge it. You don't know how to get back to that place because she doesn't believe it anymore, and she's telling this other story. And how can you get back on your feet? How can you get back to where you were, to that knowing who you are, if she doesn't believe it anymore? She's the one who changed the story. She's the one who pulled the rug out. It's no wonder that men don't handle divorce as well as women. Of course, they're more likely to feel devastated or depressed or emotionally traumatized. But it's not because women are stronger than men when it comes to divorce. It's because the woman filed for the divorce. It's because she's months, if not years, ahead of him in the process of moving on, and because she's put herself in a position of emotional power. And it's ironic, isn't it, that she's put herself in this role as the victim, and that's actually what's giving her this emotional power in the relationship. Perhaps the biggest problem with all of this is that it's really hard for men to catch up, to be handling divorce as well as women, because it's not just that time separation, it's that emotional power piece. So as long as that dynamic is there within your own mind, as long as that self-doubt is there, as long as you're believing any part of you, her narrative, you really can't catch up to where she is, getting over it, feeling happy, looking forward to new relationships. And that's perhaps the real tragedy here, is that for a lot of men, it's not a question of moving on more slowly than their wife. It's a question of, are they ever going to move on? Are they ever going to feel better? Are they ever going to fully heal from this? Some people say that time heals all wounds. I want to caution you against that. Time can be a powerful tool, but how you use that time is far more important than how much time it takes. And I'm sure you're aware, if you've been on the internet and looking at videos about divorce, that there's a lot of men who never fully heal. There's a lot of men who come out of divorce and never trust women again, never have a deep or intimate or close relationship again. They write off women entirely. They write off relationships entirely to save themselves from this kind of pain in the future. And that's why I created Better Beyond Divorce. This coaching program is there to help you use this time effectively so that you can actually heal, that you can actually move on. Within that program, I give you the tools and the support that you need to use that time well so that you can learn how to manage those difficult and painful emotions that come up and really truly rebuild your faith in yourself, to vanquish that self-doubt so that you can finally and really truly make peace with the past and find hope for the future. And not an empty future, not a lonely, isolated future, a deeply connected future with intimate and secure relationships with people who are able to reciprocate that kind of depth and that kind of intimacy. If you'd like to learn more about Better Beyond Divorce, go ahead and just book a free strategy session with me using the link in the video description below. And as you go on about your day today, remember, women might handle divorce better than men. It's not because they're stronger. It's just because they happen to be the one who filed for it, which gave them a head start and also put them in this position of emotional power, where it looks like they get to craft the narrative for both of you. But that's an illusion. They don't get to craft your narrative. They don't get to be inside your brain. Let's take back your emotional power and give you control over what the rest of your life and your future relationships look like.